where we take adult shit and cut it into kid-sized pieces. My name is Miss A, and today I'll be sharing with you tips on how to ace your interview. With that being said, let's get started, shall we? Tip number 1, don't be nervous. Now, that's easier said than done, and I get it. Sometimes you're like, this is my dream job, or I really need this job. But it's really important that you stay calm before and during your interview. And think of it like this. They invited you for the interview, so something in your background, be it that someone recommended you for the job or you applied and stood out from a pile of applicants, has caught their attention, and thus they want to see if you match your resume in person and if you'll be a good fit for the company. So it's really important that you remember this but not take it for granted, and put your best foot forward by not being nervous so that you can focus on the interview process and enjoy the experience. Number 2, don't get caught up in the years of experience that you lack. Now, once upon a time, I was a recruiter, and we'd get this outline from the company about all that they wanted. You know, they wanted 5 years of this, 2 years of that, the sun, the moon, the stars, the whole entire universe. And, you know, we try to get as close as possible. But for me as a recruiter, I do remember thinking that if I found a candidate that had a little bit of everything, maybe not enough years in everything, but a good amount of experience overall, that the client might potentially look at them, at least give their resume a once-over. And if the candidate showed willingness to learn and eagerness to grow, that was even a bonus. And I would present those candidates. So it's not always about the experience. If they've invited you for an interview, it's because they feel maybe that you have enough in your background to consider a closer look at, consider taking a closer look at. So the thing to remember when you feel like you don't have the years of experience that they're looking for is to 1, not bring it up, and 2, instead focus on the experience that you do have and how it can translate to the job that you're interviewing for. And be sure to express your eagerness and willingness to grow and putting forth the effort to do so. Number 3, first impressions are everything these days. So make sure you're making a good one from the start. But you already know this. Just like dating, interviewing is a dating process. It's a courting process in which the company wants to see if you're the person they want to enter a work relationship with. And no matter where you are in the process, you want to make sure that you don't take it for granted. If it's your second or third time around, don't start doing little things that will make them have a second thought about giving you the position. In other words, from the very start, interview 1 all the way to the last interview, they each have to be treated as individual interviews as in your approach. So let me get into the details of that. First, you want to arrive on time, of course. And that means planning out so that you have enough time to commute and park and get into the interview area on time. And if by chance you've done all that you can and you find that your timing is still off and that you're going to be late, make sure that you call ahead of time and let them know that you're going to be late. And secondly, you want to make sure that your attire matches the culture of the company. On rare occasions, you can have it where the interview requires the person to dress for their department and not necessarily the company. Example is, I used to work for a tech company that wanted, that was streamlined to, business casual. But the developers were, allowed to be a little bit more relaxed in attire, so they didn't have to show up in a suit and tie. In fact, that probably would go against their department culture in terms of looks. But whatever it is, make sure that you understand the attire that is acceptable for that business and for your position, and dress accordingly. And if you have doubts or you don't know, definitely ask. It never hurts to ask. It only shows that you care about the position. Another thing to remember is that your interview technically starts from the moment you get out your parked car, out the Uber or the bus, and make your way all the way up into the area of your interview, even before you interview. In other words, first impressions can be made with the slightest of gestures, your attire, the way you say hello or you receive information. So make sure your demeanor is courteous to everyone that you meet. You never know whose opinion, based off of interaction, is going to matter and make the final decision on whether or not you get the job or get called for the next interview. Oh yes, and let's not pretend that social media doesn't play a role in how people are perceived. So make sure that your social media, all your accounts, match up to the person that you want to present to the company when you talk to them face to face, and even throughout the process, and dare I say after you get the job. Because some people think, well, I had a picture here and there, but that's so old, it doesn't matter. No, everything matters online. So make sure your social media matches the person that you are presently and matches the person that you want to present to the company that you hope will become your future employer. Number 4, do your research on the company that you're interviewing with. Nothing kills an interview fast like an applicant who doesn't know anything about the company that they're interviewing for. And by that, I mean, usually people understand what the company does, but they don't have any knowledge of the history that goes along with the company. Things that would tell you their success or anything of that nature, why they're still in business today. These things are important for an applicant to know, because it lets the employer know that you're interested in the company if you take time to, do a little research and understand the background of the company beyond what they do. Knowing the history about a company is a good way to make a good first impression on hopefully your future employer, and is a good way to stand out above the candidates that you're competing against for the position. Number 5, match the demeanor of the interviewer that you're interviewing with. So you've come in and you've been warmly greeted and shown into a place where you'll meet your interviewer, and the first one comes in and they're so bubbly off the top, great energy all the way around, and then it's 15 minutes before you even get to the first interview question. But then they look down at their clock and they say, oh, my time is up, great meeting you, so-and-so will be in right after me. You sit there and you're thinking, yes, I'm on my way, one down, few more to go, I can do this, I've got this in the bag. But then the second interview comes in and their energy is totally different. They're very rigid in feel. They have a poker face. You can't tell if they're having a good day or a bad day. And now you're kind of like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to make of this. Don't panic. Just fine tune your personality, not to something that feels rigid and icy and cold, but calm down the extras, basically. Anything that was really fun and over the top, or not over the top, but fun and loose with the first person, you want to kind of reel it in with the second person. Still be friendly, but be much more concise. No extra stories of anything, and let them guide the interview. And just stay within the lines that you feel will adequately answer the questions and give a friendly demeanor, but that isn't too excessive to the personality of the person that's interviewing you. And this is crucial because You never know who's going to be the person who makes a deciding factor. Maybe the person who has poker face is the final person in the interview, or has the heaviest weight in making the decision factor of who gets the position. Number 6, make sure to send a thank you note or email to everyone that you meet. Now this one really depends on the industry and the position that you're applying for. So I'm going to let you decide whether or not this one applies to you. Well, that's it for today. Just a few tips on how to ace your interview. Thank you for attending class. Go ahead and do your homework by subscribing to this channel, commenting, and thumbs up in this video. My name is Miss A, and until next time, remember, you must be this tall to pay bills.